An Angela Levin exclusive. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are hurt, worried, and angry with Prince William. Our royal mastermind, Queen Camilla's biographer, Prince Harry's biographer, joins us now. Angela,
Hello.
what have you discovered? And how
Well-
dare they be angry, by the way? I'm already annoyed. But anyway, over to you, Angela. Over to you.
Yes, they're very cross, and they feel that they should have been taken and told what was going on. Now, the discussion was, as we've talked about before, is that William went over to Paris, and there he had a long chat with President-elect Trump.
Yeah.
And it was just because of the Notre Dame Cathedral had just been repaired, and this was there was a terrible fire there in 2019, and this was a sort of wonderful way of acknowledging that it was all right. But they were both furious. Harry thought he should be. He's one of a royal, not a working one, but he's still one royal. Meghan, if you remember, she absolutely couldn't stand Trump. And when he came in 2019 to see the Queen and have a big meal together, she refused to go. And she was only living, 2 minutes away. It wasn't a journey. And she just can't bear him. And so they've been very, very cross. And I think, it's not their business, is it? You can't just actually tip your finger in and say who William can talk to and who he can't. In fact, William did it very well because it meant that somebody in the Labour Party couldn't actually go over and talk to Trump, which wouldn't have gone very well, but that he was very, very good and kind and gentle, and he could talk about the family. Trump adores the British family, and he particularly adored the late Queen Elizabeth. So he could discuss about his grandmother, who he also adores, and generally talk about the family and make it a very warming thing, because we're going to have to deal with Trump after he's taken his position in January. So there's no point in actually not doing your best to get it off to a good start. And I think Sir Steimer is not going to like him very much at all. So we've got at least somebody who will do the job. So I then thought, how is this all going to, what are they going to do about it? Presumably nothing. But I don't think that was right. I think that when Harry said that he was absolutely thrilled that Lilibet, with her wonderful blue eyes and the way she looked, was exactly like their mother, their late mother, Diana. And I thought, why is he saying that? It's not letting anybody see his children. It was all the victor of that terrible Christmas, you can't really say Christmas card, but, that Christmas card. It was very, very strange to do that. Why tell us all about somebody if you can't let us look at them? And I thought that he was doing this actually to upset William, because Harry has said several times that he believes that his mother is looking down at him from above and actually telling him what to do. That she dealt with William some time ago, and now she's left him and his family alone, and he's come just to focus on him. And that way that William, I thought, would be very upset about that. I mean, he could shove it off himself, but I think that was done to try and get his own back. And I think that's extremely sad, extremely rude. But I'm not surprised, because I think that Harry now is a very different man that he was. And he actually would like William to feel very bad.
I know, but Angela, where do Harry and Meghan get off? What does William owe them? Seriously, what does he owe them after all of the damage that they caused to him?
They owe to him that he will step down and let Meghan take over.
Yeah.
There we are.
But I just,
It is ridiculous,
Yeah.
but the jealousy there is enormous. The jealousy of William and Catherine is absolutely enormous, and so they're just trying to do these things as often as they can, not taking into account that William's having a very tough time, a lot of pressure on him for his, being heir to the throne, but also for looking after his children and looking after Catherine and watching her, gradually get well, but it's still very worrying with something like that, the cancer that she's had. And I think that he's just trying to win. He's very cross that he's got all this and he hasn't.
Yeah. I mean, the jealousy absolutely eats away at him. But how awful to be jealous of your own brother. Just awful. Angela, you've raised the card. I know we spoke about it earlier in the week, but can I just show you something that, according to Taz posted on X, she wrote, "Come on, it's a little odd, right?" And see there's Netflix footage on the right when Archie was 3 to 4 years old. And it does seem to be the exact pose. Now, I know the mainstream
She's
media.
very good. She's very good. She's got a very good eye
Yeah.
way of looking at things. Yeah.
She's been laser sharp investigating this card, but the mainstream media, Angela, say, "Oh, she's just a conspiracy theorist." Anyone who's questioning this card, but there's so many things. I know you pointed them out on Tuesday, but there's so many things that just don't add up about this picture.
Yes. Yes, but then if you go on about it, then it looks even worse because the title of it, I have to read it out to you. It's just too awful, isn't it? Um, it's on behalf of the office of Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Archwell Productions, and Archwell Foundation. We wish a very happy holiday season and a happy new year. We'll get back to that in a minute, but they've got a second card that is a private one. That's according to People magazine. They send that to close friends and family. So how nasty can you get? They send this sort of snooty, sort of rude, um, ghastly, sort of pompous thing that for us, not allowing them to use her name properly, and because we don't deserve very much, we're a second level. I mean, I can't imagine that. I've never known any royal who sends out a Christmas card and then does that great sort of hoo-ha of who they are, just in case we didn't know. It's beyond anything, actually. I think it's one of the worst things you can do. So patronizing, so superior, and actually they're not. They might have been long ago, but they're certainly not now. They've smashed all that.
And Angela, it just gets worse, though, for Harry and Meghan, because Polo is now officially not just a flop in the UK and the US, Angela, but everywhere. This is just broken from the Mail that reports fresh humiliation for Prince Harry and Meghan as their flop show Polo fails to make Netflix's top 10 in any market. Now, Netflix, Angela, is in well over 100 countries around the world. It hasn't made the top 10 in one of them.
We both gave up 5 hours to watch this, and it was beyond anything. I mean, I fell asleep in the fifth show, and I had to go back and look at it because I didn't want to miss out. But it was so bitty, it was so unpolished, and they brought out all the worst of these polo experts. I can't imagine they would be very pleased with it. It was exactly of someone who didn't know what they were doing and who seemed to not really care about it. It was very, and putting women in the middle of it and showing us balloons and children's clothes and nice tables full of food. I mean, I think, you can't do that. If this is about polo, it's about polo. It's not about having a few women there doing boring things and um, longing to see their husbands, but being frightened that they won't stay with them. I mean, it's a sort of ridiculous way of doing anything, I think.
For years, the relationship between Prince Harry and Prince William was seen as one of the strongest bonds inside the royal family. They stood together through some of the most difficult moments of their lives. They represented the future of the monarchy, and for many people around the world, they symbolized family unity in the face of extraordinary pressure. But today, that image feels more distant than ever. According to explosive new reports, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were allegedly left furious after recent developments involving Prince William, reigniting speculation that the royal rift is far from healed. As fresh claims emerge and commentators weigh in, many are now asking the same question. Has this family conflict reached a point where reconciliation is no longer possible? Tonight, we're breaking down the entire controversy, the context behind the reported anger, the public reaction, and why this latest story is once again putting the royal family feud under the spotlight. Let's get into it. The video wastes no time establishing its central theme. From the very beginning, viewers are presented with dramatic headlines suggesting that Harry and Meghan are deeply upset about something connected to Prince William. And immediately, the language becomes important. Words like furious, rage, and shocking are designed to create an emotional response before the details are even fully explained. The creator wants viewers to feel like they are witnessing another major turning point in the ongoing royal family conflict. And honestly, that's a narrative audiences have become very familiar with over the last several years. Because ever since Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties, almost every development involving the brothers has been viewed through the lens of conflict. Every public appearance, every interview, every reported conversation, everything becomes part of a larger story about a family relationship that appears deeply fractured.
But Angela, isn't what is so interesting about all of this, and I think it links back to your story today in regards to Harry and Meghan's current fury at Prince William, and probably Catherine to a lesser extent, I guess. But isn't it the fact that they cannot handle that it's Catherine and William who are now the stars in America? So Catherine, nominated for Time Person of the Year. William has been spoken about by Donald Trump more than any other leader that he met. The respect for William and Catherine. Now, I know they received that terrible treatment from the mainstream media earlier this year, but the respect has grown because of the way they dealt with it. They dealt with it with class. They dealt with it with dignity. It was a case of less is more, but they still opened up to the public in their own way. Remember, there was the beautiful video when Catherine revealed that she was cancer-free. And I can only imagine that is eating them up inside because they were meant to be the Hollywood stars. They were meant to be the belle of the ball in America. And actually, it's the opposite that has happened.
Yes, they can't cope with that. I mean, I think it's particularly difficult for Meghan because she has seen herself as, you know, an incredibly important person worldly. She'd always you didn't like talking about the UK or even the USA. It's always worldly and global. And those are the things that she thought people deserved out of them, and that she is a very important person. And do you remember that she did say that it was completely wrong that the Queen gave more work to Catherine than they did to her? And this is while she was still just about working royal, because she is a self-made woman who did everything herself, and she's got a much more experience than Catherine did. Well, you know, it's not an exam. It's how you deal with people. It's your kindness, and it's your being part of the most extraordinary team of people in the world, really. And if you just see it about yourself, it's this me, me, me. So she's very, very annoyed. And we've also seen that when she was actually in the palace, she didn't like to be called by anything other than Meghan. And Harry always wanted to be called Harry. I remember when he saw me, he said, "Oh, call me Harry, call me Harry." So fine, called it Harry. And now she wants to be called ma'am by everyone, and Harry wants to be called sir by everyone. So they're trying to behave, becoming more royal than they were before.
But they're not looking more royal, Angela. They're not looking more royal.
They're not looking more royal. They're not. It's a sort of clinging on. People are hanging on to a cliff, and this is hanging on to being royal, and it's just not working. And of course, Meghan, is trying to go to every party she can and be there.
Not being invited to many.
No. Being on the red carpet, whatever it can take. Even when she's not invited, she pops in, and there'll be people taking shots of her. But really, she doesn't want people to keep on taking shots of her unless they're the people that she says should do it. She doesn't like journalists. She only had one when she went to Africa, but did these pseudo visits. But it's. I think they're all muddled up, and they don't know where they're going really.
No, indeed. And Angela, I wanted to show you the front cover of Star magazine.
One of the most powerful elements in the video is the contrast between the past and the present. The creator reminds viewers of a time when William and Harry were widely seen as inseparable. We see images of the brothers supporting one another, attending events together, and presenting a united front to the public. These moments carry enormous emotional weight because they remind audiences of what has seemingly been lost. And that contrast is intentional. By showing happier footage from the past, the video makes current reports of tension feel even more dramatic. It encourages viewers to think about how far the relationship has changed. And for many people, that transformation remains one of the most fascinating aspects of the entire royal story. As the video moves forward, it begins exploring the specific developments that allegedly triggered this latest wave of anger. Whether it involves comments, decisions, media reports, or insider claims, the creator presents the situation as another example of growing distance between the two sides. What's interesting is how the video repeatedly emphasizes separation. William is shown carrying out royal duties in Britain. Harry and Meghan are shown living their lives in California. The editing constantly reinforces the idea that they now exist in completely different worlds. And that visual storytelling is incredibly effective. Because without directly saying it, the video creates the impression that the emotional and physical distance between them continues to grow. The creator also places this latest controversy within a much larger timeline. This isn't presented as an isolated disagreement. Instead, it's framed as the newest chapter in a conflict that has been unfolding for years. We're reminded of the Oprah interview, the Netflix documentary, Harry's memoir Spare, the public accusations, the reported private disagreements. All of these moments are woven together to suggest that unresolved tensions continue to shape the relationship today. And that's a key reason stories like this attract so much attention.
Star magazine is one of those supermarket tabloids in America. Quite ironic, isn't it? Because Harry and Meghan thought they were going to Hollywood and weren't going to get any tabloid coverage. But this is what they see, Angela, when they walk into their local CVS or their local supermarket in Montecito. If they dare to leave the house, I'm sure probably their staff rush off to buy stuff for them, right? But these words on the cover are damning. 5 years later, Meghan and Harry's shattered world. They left England to rule Hollywood, but every project flops, friends disappear, and power players mock them publicly. How it all went so wrong, so fast. And I just thought you could not get a more damning, but honest verdict of Megxit.
Yes, I think that's why I believe that Harry is getting punished for this, and he's gone off. And okay, he's smiling and doing all sorts of things there, which were from his past. But I think that that's because she would blame him. I mean, she's never at fault. She always blames other people. And I think Harry's the one at the moment. I mean, it's a nonsense to say that they talk at night and she sends him little love things, and She tells them how the children are. That's not a marriage. That's not a good idea. What's all that, that's about? But he's keeping away. And there was one of the magazines, they're going to just sort of, it suits them both very well that they live apart and they do what they want, because Meghan has a much more desire to be more important than Harry does. I mean, all this is absolute rubbish, isn't it? I think that they can't, it's not like a normal fat person would say that. What, how, if the kids, they just hears about the kids now and then, are they there, the kids? Who knows? But it's very, very awkward to do that. He hasn't got to work a job miles away and can't get back. He's actually doing things that he wants to, and now we don't know what he's doing. But he's still staying away because they think that's really nice. Well, does that mean they can both have new partners? Is that what they mean? They don't mind that? Is that because they don't have any more rows, or that Meghan really has control of everything and can get on with it, but is really not a sweetie, nice way of living? It's horrible and it's not normal. And to try and pretend that that's fine and it absolutely suits you is one of those little lies that come out now and then.
Angela, speaking of a Christmas card that went down incredibly well, look at the front page of The Sun in the UK today. They've cleared it all just for William and Catherine's Christmas card, because I think the viewers, they got it so right. And then there's been a lot of reportage in the newspapers, including the Daily Telegraph today, explaining that William and Catherine are not, or did not attend, the Christmas lunch this week because they're in Norfolk. And after the difficult year that they've had, Angela, their priority is very much their family and their children. Do you think that's an understandable decision?
Oh, yes. I mean, the children had finished school, and so they went on holiday, and which is where the Christmas Day party will be. And I think it just saves them back and forth. I think Catherine wants to save her energy, so it will be a lovely Christmas Day, and that's a perfectly normal thing to do. We've got the three children. They want to be alone together for a little bit. There's 70 people at the lunch today, and I think that's quite a lot for Catherine to handle, because she will be expected to be as charming as she usually is, going around talking to everyone, asking how they are, telling them a little bit of how she is in words that she can control. And I think that she's right to have a little rest and then see the family when they're there on Christmas Day. And she'll also be going to church nearby, and she is more spiritual than she used to be. And I think that's quite moving for someone who is living almost well after a terrible disease. You don't know quite who to thank, apart from the surgeon and the doctor. And there is something about it that you can be spiritual and feel that you're given more opportunity in this world, and opportunity for her to be there for William and for her children. I think it's very moving, and I think it can make you cry when you go to church and you're in that sort of state. It's difficult. So she'll have a bit more energy if she stays away from so many crowds and so much going on.
Angela, breaking right now, worrying news about the King's health, with sources confirming that he will continue his cancer treatment into the new year. Now, of course, there are positive signs in the fact that he does want to return to a full schedule, but I mean, this is now a grueling amount of therapy that he is having to undergo.
Yes, it might not be as bad as it sounds, actually, because I had a builder who had a very, very strong cancer problem, and off, he carried on, and it's 5 years since he has it, and it's top ups. It's just keeping on fighting the enemy, but he's working as he used to, and it's just very helpful. I think the king looks very well. He's very happy to be out and about, and I think anybody who says, and they have done this, that Catherine and William are preparing to take over earlier than you thought. Well, nobody knows how long anyone is going to live. If the king and the queen are in their mid-70s, you've got no idea about how long they're going to be on this earth. And I think that that's an extremely cruel, unnecessary, and nonsensical thing to do, because it's obvious that William is going to be the king, when all this happens. But it could be a long time, and he's doing a lot. I mean, he's very busy every day. He's not now resting as he used to. He looks very well, but he is still having the treatment, and I think that makes it sensible rather than a difficult word and everybody's worrying. But you don't know, do you? And these things can turn very quickly, especially if people are older, and what somebody younger might be aware of and happen to them. But this, it can be quite a quick thing. So keep up with things all the time. Keep taking the tablets and be well as much as you can.
People aren't just reacting to one headline. They're reacting to years of history. They're reacting to a story that many feel is still unfinished. The video then shifts toward public reaction, and as expected, opinions are deeply divided. Some commentators argue that Harry and Meghan have every right to be upset if they feel they've been treated unfairly. They view the couple's frustrations as understandable given everything that has happened. Others take the opposite view. They argue that continuing public disputes only make reconciliation more difficult and keep old wounds open. And this division is exactly what keeps royal stories dominating headlines. Because viewers aren't simply consuming information. They're emotionally invested. They choose sides. They defend one perspective or the other. And every new development becomes another chapter in an ongoing debate. As the video approaches its conclusion, the focus shifts away from the specific incident and toward a larger question. What does all of this mean for the future? If these reports are accurate, does it suggest that tensions remain as strong as ever? Or are ordinary disagreements being amplified into major controversies because of the intense public interest surrounding this family? That uncertainty is what keeps stories like this alive. Because no matter how many years pass, people continue to wonder whether William and Harry will ever truly reconcile. And until that question is answered, every headline, every rumor, and every reported disagreement will continue attracting enormous attention. Musical note. Music slowly builds toward the outro. Musical note. Whether this latest report reflects a genuine breakdown in relations or simply another round of media speculation, one thing is clear. The story of William, Harry, and Meghan remains one of the most closely watched family dramas in the world. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think tensions between Prince William, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle are still as serious as these reports suggest? Or do you think the media often exaggerates disagreements to keep the royal drama alive? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal family analysis, celebrity reactions, and in-depth commentary. Subscribe for more royal breakdowns. Bell.